Thanks for doing it.
We have walked around the streets and loved you. Okay, some kind of promotion.
Street where you live.
Knowing I'm on the street where you live.
Frank Sinatra?
And oh,
Julia Sarose, I think.
Is that comfy?
That's good. You are near.
And here we have
The Volcano Brothers. There they go on camera.
Bob and John Hart.
Never before photographed.
Say hello, Bobby.
Come on. Leave me alone.
Come on. Say hello, Bobby.
Okay, good, fine.
I have Austin Wall.
Can you move your boots around? We're just taking close-up shots now for inserts later.
Sure.
So we can get a little action with the shoes.
Want some action with your boots?
Whatever, yeah.
I hope that they're going to have to slow down the camera.
Those boots either. He also had to wait till the sound guy gets out.
I wish the heat guy would get heat in here.
Yeah, everything.
2 out of 3 isn't bad.
Hey, I got the building one.
Just clip it to his nipple.
Nip it to his clipple.
Good it is.
Comedy.
I wonder what the reaction of Ed Sullivan would have been if he was around to put you on.
Hey, look.
He was a
I'm
strange
going to have to
one.
talk to you.
He was.
I mean, he
I
was
love
the only
her.
guy
Okay. That's fine, yeah.
Okay, and today on the show for the adults we have the Marquis Chimps, and for the kids we have the Beatles. Strange man.
Well, if you'd been hit in the head as many times as he had,
You've been up early this morning, huh?
I know it. Don't do that when I'm talking either. Don't do that. Do this.
Don't do this, do that. Don't.
We're alive. So come on in. Oh, God. Yeah. Hi, Mom.
Say hello to Uncle George.
And I mean, to stop me a few.
Just for a second, I just want to get in.
It doesn't have to be there.
No, keep going.
We've got a lot.
But I mean, they don't shoot you, so just leave it.
Zam.
It's up to you.
Yeah, I'm working. I have to move the camera to get a close-up.
You want to move the Carmen to...
Want some boots or faces?
They wanted a close-up of that famous...
Appendage.
Tongue?
You want slow motion, fast motion, side? What do you got? Do it all. We got about 30 seconds to kill.
Ultraviolet. Merv Griffin had. You ever hear Ultraviolet? You know her?
Sure.
Yeah.
Merv Griffin had her on the show once. And he said, "I hear you have a long tongue," and she took her tongue out and hit her eyebrows with it.
Wow. No kidding.
Who was this?
Everybody went crazy. You were there. Did you see it?
Wow.
Who is this?
Is she
Where does she live?
attractive?
Yeah,
Yes, she's beautiful.
Oh, yeah?
Really?
And you got to have a record. You win.
Boy, you and her.
Well, she stuck her tongue out, went out, and went up, and hit. Everybody was crazy.
They went out for lunch.
Maybe we
They
can
went to the Carnegie Deli.
I had to chase it all over the theater.
It's room. Okay.
We've got a
Dun,
lot.
dun, dun.
No, I doubt it.
I have often walked down the street. Oh. But the pavement never.
I really like that song.
Zama.
Oh, welcome to our living room. We're here relaxing this afternoon. We're waiting for tea. All the afternoon soaps are off. Nothing to do.
They're truly poor.
Have you met my butler, Simmons? Simmons, be good.
And then, remember, look.
You rang.
You rang.
I have fallen.
All right. Guys on the ends, you had to lean in.
Lean on us.
Just, as a general thing during the interview.
Right, okay.
Be aware of
Just
not
be
leaning
aware.
out.
Should we all lean in, lean back? What do
No,
you
you
want?
guys are okay.
No, be fine.
Fine.
Anytime, Al.
Okay. Welcome to the show. We're talking with KISS.
Here we are.
Hello. Hi, folks.
Hello, hello.
Hello, America.
We just come from Montreal. That's why we talk like this.
Welcome to Night Flight. My name is Al Bandiro, and my guests are KISS.
Hello, Al.
Hello, Al.
How are you?
Fine.
I'm fine.
Thank you
How's
for coming
America?
to Night Flight.
America, hi.
Why don't you introduce yourself? We'll go from left to right.
Vinnie Vincent.
Stevie Nicks. Paul Stanley.
Gene Simmons. Right in back of Paul's hand. Wait.
Eric Carr. Yeah, no, they just...
Okay, and the outside gentlemen are the two newest members in the group.
Hey.
If we can...
Let's do the second intro again. And let's just do it a little bit slower. And then when the
Okay, I
camera
was going to say
falls,
Eddie Carter. Okay, you'll be sorry. I know.
Okay.
All right. Welcome to Night Flight. My name is Al Bandiro, and we're talking with KISS. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hi. Hi, Al. How are you?
Hey, Al.
All right.
How are you?
How about if we introduce from left to right?
Vinnie Vincent.
Stevie Nicks. Paul Stanley.
Gene Simmons.
Eric Carr.
Okay, now this group has sold over 50 million records, recorded 17 albums. So far, so good?
So far, so good.
Not bad.
Okay.
I like it.
15 gold, 11
Something like
platinum.
We lose count after 10.
Okay, and then history has been made with KISS as far as music is concerned. Can we get into the previous band before KISS to bring it up to date?
Sure.
So all people do is see what you're at now, where you're at. They think it's an overnight success. Let's go back to the days when you were paying some dues.
Well, Gene and I were in a band in 72, I guess 71, 72, and we wanted to do a big theatrical presentation, but most of the guys in the band, we kind of looked like we were at a bus stop waiting for the bus. There was tall guys and short guys and hairy guys and
Bald guys.
Bald guys. Nothing against bald people. We're all headed that way. But we just decided we want to put together something really spectacular. And I guess we had a record deal, and once we finished the album, we fired the band and went looking for new members. And we saw an ad in the paper that said drummer willing to do anything.
That was in Brooklyn, right?
That's right. And the drummer willing to do anything was Peter Criss. And we went to see him, and he was willing to do anything.
He was playing in the King's Lounge in Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn. Well,
And,
you and I are from the same neighborhood, Gene.
Williamsburg. Yeah.
And
Except you used to chase me. I used to run when I was
No, I was one of
little.
the
Now
smart
it's
ones.
my turn.
Now, you're from?
I'm from Manhattan, all the way uptown, Inwood. Some people don't know about Inwood. It's like right before Riverdale, 211th Street, Broadway.
You know, some people would know about it.
Moving right along. It's like Outwood, only backwards.
And the two new members.
I'm actually from Connecticut, born in Connecticut. Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Yeah, but Vinny's heart lies in Brooklyn. He can't be Italian and talk like this and not
My
have
heart
and
lies.
come from Connecticut. No.
Brooklyn, eh? I got one in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I'm a Brooklyn guy. I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Brooklyn, East New York, which, as you may know, is a very tough neighborhood. That's why I'm so tough.
Backtrack a little bit. Where was the very, very first show that you put on?
First show we put
Probably
on
in our living rooms when we were little kids for our parents and our uncles.
Right. I used to, go next door and lip sync, mimic records.
Professionally.
Professionally. We did a show at a place in Queens called Coventry. It was on Queens Boulevard. We didn't want to get lumped in with all the New York bands, all the glitter bands, so we went looking for our own club. So our first show was for the bartender in a bar. Nobody else showed up.
With the makeup?
Yeah, Kiss has always looked just like, Kiss
From day one that you put together.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, there's tapes of us playing a club on Long Island, And we were doing all the songs that were on the first and second album. That's never really changed.
The very first reaction to where people started coming in droves, so to speak, to see what you were all about, what was that kind of reaction?
I remember getting up on stage in Long Island. This was in Amityville, I suppose a couple blocks from where that ghost house was. And people are drinking. I remember just putting our guitars down in one of the sections of the song and running out into the audience and making people put their drinks down and forcing them to clap their hands. Once, there was a pregnant girl in the front of the little club, and I sat on her lap, and she wasn't quite there. Apparently she'd had... Anyway, it wasn't a nice thing to do. I think the baby's okay now, but there was a point there where... And, you know, when we first walked in, the security guy there, the big guy, was going to knock us out. We were really scared. And we'd lock ourselves in the dressing room, putting on our makeup, and we'd be answering the phone. People would call up and say, well, who's playing there tonight? We'd say, oh, the best band you ever saw, KISS. They wear makeup. They do all kinds of strange... You'll love them.
They hide from the bouncer. They hide from the bouncer.
And the club owner had no idea what we were doing. We refused to do any Rolling Stones or cover songs or anything. And he complained the first weekend. Second weekend, it sold out, and...
He really used to get pissed because a bar does its business on liquor. And we were so loud that they couldn't hear anybody ordering drinks. But what happened over a period of a week or two is we were doing such a big business at the door that they didn't care. And it didn't really matter.
As long as the people came in.
Bouncer would be so anxious for the show that he'd come and knock on the door. Come on out, you guys. Come on out now, you know. And that sounds like John. We've got a security guy. His name is John Hart. Sounds just like that.
There's an interesting story about how you got the record companies to come and see you. The story along with the Brats. Tell our viewers about that. That's interesting.
We would rent our own concert hall. This was at the Diplomat Hotel, 43rd and 6th. Still there, I think. They haven't torn it down yet.
Home of reasonably...
Yeah, still there.
Yeah, home of reasonably priced prostitutes.
And we put on our own concert. We rented the hall, took the ads out in the newspaper, and actually had little contracts with the opening acts. But we were the opening act. The Brats at that point were a more popular-based band. And we invited everybody to come, you know, the record industry to come and see us. And we'd say in the invitation, complimentary ticket, showtime, 9:30. And of course, you know, they'd come and see us, and by the time we were off, they'd leave. And the headline act, the Brats, would come on at 11 o'clock, and by that time...
Did they know that this was going on, meaning the Brats?
No.
Certainly not.
I think...
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, probably what set us apart from a lot of the other bands is that we were kind of thinking along those kind of lines. It wasn't really enough to just get out and play.
No, we were serious about this. We wanted this to happen.
So you were going to pull out all the stops to,
That's right.
to do something. If we can, once KISS has been successful, let's get into some negatives that I know you came across. How did you deal with them as far as the parents were concerned? Because I'm sure when they saw their children bring home an album and say, what is that?
We never... I guess...
Did you have any confrontations with parents? Or,
no, I think we kind of took it as a compliment because we never really wanted to appeal to parents. I mean, trouble with a lot of parents is they forget they were ever young. And we were never trying to be a critics band, and we were never trying to be the band that the parents approved of, because that's not what rock and roll is all about. Rock and roll is sex and freedom, two things that, and more sex, three things that a lot of adults fear, I guess.
That, in the beginning, though, it is true that we would go out and open up for acts from all the way from Savoy Brown to Manfred Mann, acts that were sort of on their last legs anyway. And we'd catch a lot of flack from, Roberta would call up and say, we get flack, you get it? But it wouldn't matter because even before our record came out, we would tour with these acts, and we'd have our logo on the stage and amps bigger than the headline act. And even once we went off the stage, our logo would be hanging above, the stage. This was before anybody ever really started to do that sort of stuff. It wasn't considered in vogue to hang a sort of a Las Vegas sign above the band. It was a little too garish, but we didn't care about that stuff. We wanted to make an impression, and the logo would flash so bright that even when the other act was on, you'd still see KISS in front of your eyes. We wanted them.
Yeah,
where was your first big hall that you played?
What did I say?
Garish?
That was Eileen. Don't you remember Eileen Garish?
I'm sorry.
Let's go back again. Where was the first big hall that you played when you had, if you have to label it, success?
We
Well, it depends on what you consider success. To us in the beginning, success was being fourth on the bill playing the Palladium in New York, which is 3,800 seats. So to us, that was pretty big. We went from 1 week playing a club in Queens. 10 days later, we were playing there. And I was a chubette at that time, and I was wearing satin pants that broke.
You were a chubette?
Yeah. I had a fondness for things that tended to put weight on me, so I had these satin pants on, and I jumped up in the air and they broke. And I had to hold the guitar in front of me all night to keep the pants from falling down.
There's almost nothing that was uneventful in anything we did. The very first show we did at the Academy of Music, New Year's Eve, 73, 74, was the very first time I tried to fire breathe in front of an audience, in front of a large audience anyway. And all I remember was that at one point the audience went nuts. And then somebody came up and put a towel, I think, over my head. I just thought it was a fan.
And a cane.
And a cane. And pulled me off. And I didn't realize it at the time, but the right side of my hair had caught fire. And everybody thought, yeah, that's a great show. You're going to kill yourself for us, huh? Yeah, go ahead.
How much preparation goes into one of your concerts?
H, usually. The H usually leads to the preparation.
It takes a long time. I mean, while we were working on Creatures, the latest album, Creatures of the Night, we were also at the same time working on the stage design and putting a crew together. It took months and months. I mean, really every day. I'd say we were in the studio probably 14 or 20 hours a day, in addition to running to see that the stage looked right. We had a lot of work.
You have a success, 4 guys in a band. Now one guy decides to leave. What goes through
One guy decides to change his lifestyle, pretty much.
What goes through your mind now? You're successful, very successful now at this point. How do you go about replacing him, or do you replace him? What are the
even
things
before that, you have to make certain priorities. You have to decide whether or not this is worth doing without the guy, whether or not your happiness depends on somebody else. And you know, while we're together, my happiness really is dependent on everybody else being happy. But if, look, what happened was Peter decided he wanted to get married and have a child. And that's what he wanted. He wanted to stay home and raise a baby. And at that point, in 79, we had to make a decision. And KISS is more important than any one guy deciding that he wanted to change his lifestyle.
I think it was rough at first, only because when 4 guys have been through so much together, basically, we met basically in the street. We would go around at night and glue the posters up, and then we would drive the equipment to the show and be our own roadies, and we all had this dream. You know, I can remember Thanksgiving was turkey sandwiches in an unheated loft, you know, so...
See, that's the part of the business that a lot of people, I don't really think they accept. They think it's, they see you now,
sure,
they see where you are. They don't see the dues being paid.
Well, everybody is an overnight success because people don't realize that anything was happening before they became aware of you. I mean, all that time is obviously not recorded, and there's no stories about those kind of times. So when Peter decided to leave, we really had to sit down and say, well, does the band come first, or do we suddenly break up because somebody wants to leave? Well, the band is really much more important than any of its members. And I think the whole philosophy is that the band is an attitude and a way of life and a philosophy, and that's really the most important thing, not who's in the band.
All right, well, now you have to replace somebody. Eric, how did this come about?
Well, the way they found me was through a friend of mine under a cabbage leaf, right? No, just a minute ago, my breast hair was quivering, and I was showing it to Gene while Paul was talking.
I liked it.
Did you see it?
I liked it. Can you show it to me later, too?
Yes.
I'd like to see a little bit
Quivering jelly. Anyway, I found out through a friend of mine that I hadn't seen in 3 or 4 months, quite by accident. He came down to a club that I was playing, club in Queens, and at the end of the night he said, you know, Eric, you have to get out of this band. And I said, yeah, I know. I was already intending to do that. I had no other prospects as far as music was concerned. This would have been the first time that I really did not know what I was going to do musically with my life, you know. And he said, why don't you audition for KISS? And at first I said, come on, you know, you're full of it, you know, get out of here. He said, no, but Peter's leaving the band, and you know, they're looking for drummers. So the next day, which was a Thursday morning, I called up I shaved, put on new diapers, ate my breakfast, drank my warm milk, kissed my mom goodbye. No, I called a coin management, and I asked them, what do I do, you know? I sent in... I know, the engineer fell asleep, right?
Oh, your hair keeps your hair is...
You see, where is that guy? I told you. My armpit hair or something was going to be... So it's like this. You know. So, this story is too good to mess up. All right? Yes.
We'll do you next. So, huh?
He just wanted you to play with his hair.
Now you've rehearsed it once. Yeah, now let me get it right.
All right, so we'll start it from.
Same question. We want the same story.
All right.
We can get it.
Now I forgot what the hell I said.
You said what was...
All right, we're going to go from scratch.
Okay.
Coming into you, all right? That's the best way. Make it just as exciting. I'm sure it still is.
Did you mean that sarcastically? No. Oh, okay. Make it just as exciting. I need it now. Okay.
This happened this morning. I was going a little crazy.
It's hard to be away from microphones buzzing.
Is it?
Well, as soon as the commentator thinks, Eric, what's it like? Well, and they turn the sound on, they go, yes, Kiss has been around for long. And they're going, remember these old footages, you know? Footages, like turlets.
These old? Hey, let's watch some old Kiss film.
Film.
And get into these footages. These footages. Some old Kiss film. While Eric is talking.
I'll be at the turlet.
Well, we're back now. What Eric had to say was extremely interesting.
Send for a transcript.
Better?
Send for the Eric Carr transcript. There it is,
Al, you okay?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Begin with the same conversation.
Now comes the time that you have to replace a drummer. Well, let's go to Eric as he's puffing on his drumstick. And
oh, Al.
Eric, how'd you get into the group?
How are you?
How are you?
It's funny you should ask me that question, Al. I feel like I've answered it just very recently. Well, it's a long story. They found me under a cabbage leaf, which is what Paul usually says. No, actually, the way this whole thing started was I was playing in a club, and a friend of mine that I hadn't seen in 3 or 4 months happened to stop in completely by accident. And at the end of the night, he says to me, he says, hey, you know, he says, Eric, why don't you get out of this band, you know? And I had already intended to get out of the band. Get out of this band and take a bus and get lost. Anyway, and you know, I had already intended to leave the band, but at the time I had no other prospects musically, which was like the first time in 15 years that I didn't have another band to go to.
Sanitation guy, remember?
Well, yeah, I had, oh no, I was, should I say it? Yeah, I can say that. I was repairing gas ranges in the daytime. And, you know, I was doing that so I'd have enough money to go to work the next day.
Play that back again now. Let's
okay.
Put that, you were doing
While
what
I
in the
was playing in the band right before KISS.
You working for the gas company?
Not for the gas company, but I was repairing gas ranges during the days.
He's a gas.
Yeah, I'm a gas. So anytime you guys need your stoves fixed, call on me. Anyway, but, you know, he said, you should audition for KISS, and at first I thought he was full of it, you know, I didn't believe it, but he said, no, Peter's leaving the band, and they're looking for a drummer.
And Peter's stove is broken.
Right, Peter's stove is broken. Look, the worst that can happen is that, you know, you don't make the band, but you can fix the stoves. Space Bear. No,
Gene, how many people auditioned for that?
I'm sorry?
There were hundreds that came into the office. I mean, cassettes, pictures, bio information, and out of that we settled on 30, and then we had callbacks. There were something like 7 or 10 callbacks out of the 30 that auditioned, and some of the guys, in fact, that we auditioned later went on to be members of bands like Rainbow and other bands, and Eric was called back twice, I think.
I'm a little hard of hearing, and as I was walking out, they had to call me back twice. No, okay.
And he became a member as soon as he said, "Can I have your autograph, you guys?"
He asked for our autographs.
Yeah.
And we didn't quite tell him he was in the band, but what we did is we started rehearsing with him, and one day we said to him, in 2 weeks we're playing. and you better have your stuff together, you know. So 2 weeks later, we did a show. We did our first show.
Shock at that point, I would assume.
Oh yeah. Well,
right from there, we went on a massive European tour and outdoor shows.
What happens? Tell the viewers, what happens at an audition?
You'll
What
have
goes
your
on in an
chance.
audition?
No, this is the only story I know, you know.
This is Eric's
This is my big moment.
Well, Eric would tell you what goes on. in an audition.
What goes on in an audition? What do you have to do?
Me personally, or just?
Yeah, right.
Well, I was given a list of songs to learn in the event that I was going to be auditioned, you know, for the band, and there was 5 songs, and I went home and I practiced them, you know, for a few days, over and over and over again, until I had them backwards and forwards, and I think with the whole situation with KISS, mentally, I was always here. I mean, I had wanted to be on this level. I never really, you know, expected that I would get into KISS, you know, but I was hoping to get to this level. So when I went into audition, you know, I just said to myself, look, Eric, you're going to do the best you can. You know, you're going to play. You know you're good. You know the songs, and that's all you can do, you know.
Now, do you play with them, or they're just sitting watching you?
Oh, no, I auditioned with the band.
Well, both.
We played.
Both.
Yeah.
We then step off stage.
Yeah.
and
I mean,
he
they're
does
always watching, you know, anyway. But we just played together as a band, you know.
And then we step off stage, and he does a solo by himself. We say, when we stop, you're on your own.
Yeah. Also, he had to sing. We said, learn these songs and be able to sing all of them. Also, learn the low harmony or learn the high harmony. It was tough. I mean, you had to come in and be a member of the band.
That's got to be a frightening experience the day of when you're going there. I mean, you've got to be nervous.
Yeah, I was very tense, to say the least, you know. I mean, this was like something I never expected to even be called for an audition. But, you know, when it happened, I just had a feeling deep down inside that I was going to get it. And I think that really, boy, did I get it. Okay.
He actually was very good about the audition and everything. We thought he handled himself well until we found a little puddle in the back of the drums.
We had one guy who tried out for the band who literally was hyperventilating. You know, he was behind the kid. He was behind the kid. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. I'm okay. And you got to figure, if this guy is like this now, and it's just the band, you really have to worry, because you got to figure that if the guy's really nervous now, what's going to happen when he's got to play for 20,000 people? So that's like a consideration. If the nervousness destroys your ability to play, it's only going to be worse when you play in front of a lot of people. So those kind of people were eliminated.
How long does that process take?
Well, most of the people were eliminated immediately, and they were told that they were contenders.
Okay, now another member leaves, and now you have to look for another member. In steps Vinny.
I think a little explanation about Ace is Ace really didn't decide to leave at all. Ace happened to have been in a big car accident in April, and
how's he doing?
He's fine, as you know, as long as he doesn't run around and lead a rock and roll lifestyle. You know,
well, Ace and rock and roll are synonymous.
Synonymous. And his car was totaled. He doesn't have a Porsche anymore. He's lucky to be alive, and we were all really concerned. And we recorded the album and tried to make sure that Ace was involved as much as he could be while he was recovering, and in fact took a promotional trip to Europe together. Ace went on that ride, and you know, you could tell that the strain was just too much. And then we had to make a decision. Are we going to sit still again and not be KISS, or are we going to try to sort of wait it out? We decided to go ahead.
I think at that point, what we were worried about was not does the band continue, but do we sit around and wait, or do we go out and tour? We hadn't toured in 3 years, and past a certain point, you either call it a day or you start touring. For a band like KISS, the most important thing is to be there with the public. And with a new album, it was really important that we go out and tour. So,
Vinny, explain how you got into KISS now.
Explain the biggest thing to happen in somebody's life in 2 words. You guys are beautiful, and I love you. It's amazing. It's an amazing story of fate being twisted.
Yeah, you and I met by accident, completely.
In every possible way that fate could be twisted. That's the given story of how I'm here today with you, beautiful
How did you meet Gene?
Gene was riding with a friend of mine a mutual friend
Who may no longer
who may
be
not
your-
be my friend anymore as of hearing the final word today. We were both writing with the same guy, and Gene was over there one day, and I happened to come over, and I really wanted to meet Gene, and sort of on the sly, I said, Gene, here's my telephone number, and if you ever get a chance, give me a call. And only today did I find out I have no longer the same friend that he does.
Maybe, you don't know.
Maybe.
No.
So he might be annoyed because you sort of went through the back door to get into...
It's one of those difficult situations because you really, you don't know if you're ever going to see this person again, and it's sort of that last...
It was like Bogart and Ingrid Bergman.
That last move, like, here's my phone number, and hopefully nobody else will. But anyway, from there, we just hit it off as friends, and
we started writing songs.
I didn't want to say that.
We started writing songs is what happened.
We started writing songs, and we realized we had the same influences, and we liked the same people, and same groups, same players, same guitarists, and it just, one thing led to another as far as writing. So we started writing more, and let's see, from there, I met Paul.
Well, then we were involved in working on the record, and at some point at the end of the record, we realized that Ace wasn't going to be with us, so we then auditioned guitar players from all over America.
And Vinny had played on the record.
Yeah.
Vinny co-wrote 3 of the songs on the album and played some of the solos, but we kind of, put Vinny to the side.
So what you went through with Eric now, you had to go through it again with the auditions.
Yeah.
I think it was worse.
Yeah.
I think it was much worse. We were literally flying in people every day from all around the country, and at the same time working on the album. So what we would do is probably put in about 15 hours a day in the studio, go home, sleep a little, get up in the morning, go audition guitar players, and then go back to work.
Almost every guy that walked in through the door was convinced that he was a star, and that's okay, to sort of have that as a part of your ego makeup, and makeup, as you know, is very important. But these guys would come in with, the biggest attitudes. Okay, you guys ready? Come on, let's go, let's play. All this sort of...
See, now, that kind of attitude I can't understand, because you'd think somebody would go in there like a lamb and be scared to death because he's joining KISS, you're not joining him.
Some people get the feeling that they're going to meet you on your level, but, that's not the way we are, so... It's kind of weird, because if you figure somebody's like that when they're just auditioning, it's kind of like Pandora's box. That's your cue. You know Pandora. It's like opening a can of worms. If somebody's like that when you're auditioning them, once they're in the band, they're only going to be that much worse. Yeah. And we never like to kill members of the band.
You have an attitude about your shows that's good to hear, to pass along to viewers, that you love to give 100%. And never less than that when you're on stage, even in your recording, but especially on stage, because that's, I would think, more grueling going from city to city to city.
It's not as grueling as people think. Physically it is, but right before you get up on stage, you hear 20,000 or 50,000 or 10,000, whatever the amount of people, you hear people screaming, yelling, "Kiss, kiss, kiss," or, they call out various members' names. And it gets you up. It's like, I'm sure the same thing goes through a boxer's mind before he gets into the ring. He's trained his butt off, for 3 months, and I'm sure he's exhausted. Every muscle aches, but right before you get in, then you get that surge of adrenaline, and you're ready to go.
Plus, to do this. You figure that these people are seeing you for the first time. In other words, they weren't at the show the night before. So for you to lay back because you're tired, or because you did the same songs the night before, it's really not fair to your fans or your audience. They're hearing that show, and they're owed 100% every time. Otherwise, you should stay home. If you're not going to give that every night, then you shouldn't go out on tour. It's part of the reason we didn't go out on tour, because until we were sure that we were going to go out there and commit ourselves to doing it, there was no sense to do it halfway.
Because doing it together as KISS, it's just about 10 years, right?
It is 10 years.
Yeah. 73, 74 now.
Yeah.
There are a lot of entertainers, performers, 4 or 5 years come, and they're very successful, and you go out and see them now, and they're just not putting, you can see it, they can give a vibe to an audience that they're not giving 100%.
Some of the best shows we've done in the past 10 years are the most recent ones that we've done. We've got the best stage. I mean, every year or every year and a half, we put out a new sort of stage, completely rebuild the stage with new outfits and new everything. We've got the best stage we've ever had.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit. There's a brand new setup you have.
Everybody really sort of misunderstands what it's like. To say that it's a tank, people normally think, well, you've got a tank on stage, but that's not it. The entire stage is the tank. It's designed to look like a tank, 60 feet wide, with treads that go from the front of the stage all the way to the back, with a gun turret that's in proportion to the stage, where the drums sit on top of, and this thing does everything but talk. It moves, it fires. We've got a guy who worked for the Army who simulates what tanks do when, in war games, and this thing blows up the sound system.
And that's a tankless job.
And that's only one song.
Where did you get that idea about that?
It happened very naturally. We started designing the new show. You sort of throw ideas around. I had an old idea for the drum riser, just the drum riser being a sort of like a tractor, like a little tank, like a World War I tank, and that was sort of thrown aside. But then it naturally happened. We got involved with some very creative people, and the best. And everybody, the funny thing is, first we see the end product because we know exactly what it's going to look like, and then you get involved with craftsmen, these guys that put together metal and solder things, and then all of a sudden they get involved. And we asked them, well, why didn't you show us the material that you were going to show us today? Because I knew I could get a better thing and it'll last long. They sort of get involved with it, and they're proud once it goes up. Our road crew is as proud every time there's a great show as we are, because they've done something special.
They're part of the show too.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. They always try to come out and take bows, and we're always pushing them off the side.
We're on the subject of concerts. The ticket prices just seem to be going higher and higher and higher. What's your feelings on that for people who want to come and see you, but maybe getting that 10, 12, I'm throwing a number at prices. Getting it together is hard because of the economy today. What's your feeling on that? Because the promoters are asking for more and more money.
Well, you got to figure that since money's tight nowadays, would you rather eat hamburgers every day or have one good steak? If you want steak, you should come see us. If you got to save your money, save it for it. There's only one KISS, and there's a lot of bands now that may wish they were KISS, but you can't be KISS better than we are.
We're also lucky, I think, that we've been doing something we're committed to doing what it is that we do, and it's not, times are bad. You don't just decide to go out with little amps. We've got times be damned. We're going out with the best show in the world.
Who do you listen to when you're not performing?
Starting with me?
Yeah, Eric.
A lot of Led Zeppelin, which is basically my favorite band. Police, the Cars, Men at Work. It varies. I have a lot of different tastes. Neil Young is one of my favorites.
Gene?
I usually like women at work, or just plain women. Work, play, women at play.
I like that.
I like that too. I usually like newer bands. This usually happens during a show. He goes over and pops me one.
That's because you're Pops.
Because I'm Pops.
Wake up, Gene.
Usually new bands. I love the Jeff Beck group, the first one. Truth and Beck Ola were, in my estimation, some of the best rock albums. But I like a lot of the new bands. I like Stray Cats. When we took out a lot of the new bands that we got excited with at the time. I didn't say that well, but I know what I mean. AC/DC and Cheap Trick and Styx and Judas Priest and Iron Maiden and Scorpions, just on and on.
We have to just stop for a second when you said women. As an old Brooklyn buddy, I'll have to ask you now. You were teamed up with Diana Ross for a while?
Now it's Eric.
What?
What kind of lady is Diana?
Well, Judas Priest was a very good opening act when they first came out. And, the thing about... I'll tell you what it is about us that... it's really hard doing what it is that we're doing, not in the sense that it's hard to tour and physically do it, but, we try to really make we try to distinguish between being KISS on stage and putting on the best shows in our estimation and who we are in our private lives. And that goes to also not being photographed. So, you talking about my private life.
Mm-hmm. And you have a right to your private life, which I think a lot of people don't want to accept.
Well,
and that is wrong. I mean, for anybody to dabble in it, but when it comes out in papers and trade papers or newspapers and two people are pitted together, I believe there's a fine line that you should stop at. But when you know that there's a couple together, I think that's just, people will just automatically ask you.
I don't mind questions at all, but it's okay if I don't answer because it's my life, and I'll do what I want.
It's I mean, we do that for two reasons. We do that for our own sanity. I mean, when you give as much to the audience as we try to give, and when you're in the public eye, it's real important that you have something that's private, because if you give that away, then the public has everything. So, and plus, it doesn't have any relevance to KISS. KISS is such a strong entity that to have a picture of us eating lasagna, you know, or going for a walk, it just dilutes what KISS is all about. Plus, our private lives are private, and they're valued.
But the media today wants to get past that.
But that's
they
fine.
might be wrong, you know.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think curiosity is great. It's up to us to determine how far we let on, or how much we choose to let people know. There's nothing wrong with questions.
How do you battle that as far as people trying to get in and will do almost anything to get into your personal lives?
They do it, and you know, you try to control it where you can and where you can't. Also, our fans get pissed. Can we say that word?
Sure.
They get furious with us when they think that we're not being KISS. You know, sometimes newspapers take polls. Do you want to see KISS without their makeup? No, because the mystique and the legend is really important to them. Much more important than us eating lasagna in restaurants.
But it's hard to be KISS 24 hours a day. And would you want to be KISS 24 hours a day?
We are KISS, but we're not. I mean, you take it to the extreme at a point like this, or when we're on stage. I don't think KISS is an act. KISS is us. It's something that comes from inside of us. But to do this, I wouldn't want to do this 24 hours a day. And what I do off stage, what I do in my private time, that's what you got. You know, that's what you got shades on the windows for, to pull them down.
We'll get back to the original question. I thank you anyway for answering that.
Pleasure.
I appreciate it. What music do you listen to, Paul?
I don't listen to a lot of music. It's not a lot of stuff.
What do you do in your spare time when you're not together, touring, recording?
Stay with friends, go out, stay out all night. Yeah, have a good time.
Vinny?
I listen to a lot of Zeppelin, a lot of early Zeppelin records, and Beatles. I still enjoy listening to them a lot. Jeff Beck is one of my all-time favorite guitar players. Eddie Van Halen. I'm always listening to guitar players. That's how I spend my time.
Let's move up.
Sounds rather boring. But
25 years from now. No, it's not at all. But let's move up the road 25 years.
This is going to be good.
Okay, ready?
Okay.
Yeah. Try and answer this. It's a question that just popped into my head. Your grandkids are going to come along one day. And they're going to look at some of your album covers. Because I'm just looking at what we look at now, acts and what happened in the 50s as far as music was concerned. Now we're into the 80s. By the year 2000, if your grandkids come along and they say, well, this is my grandfather. Is that going to be a little freaky for you when you're sitting in a rocking chair?
I think we're going to be right in time. Those guys I think they're all going to dress like this. Why, you don't think they're going to walk around looking like this?
I think it's great. I think we've made our mark, which is a lot more than most people can say. I've seen history books, music history, the history of rock and roll. You open it up and the inside cover is KISS. We really stated what the state of the art was for rock and roll. No more blue jeans sitting on a stool on stage looking like you just got out of bed. We took it to the extreme, and now the audience doesn't take less. I mean, that's why bands are out now with outfits and with bombs and with signs and with presentation. I'm real proud of what we've done, and I want my grandkids to see pictures of me in tights.
How long does it take to prepare for a show with your outfits and makeup?
It takes an hour of actually putting everything on. But before then, you know, all afternoon and all day we're talking about the show. We take notes, we write.
We draw pictures.
We draw pictures, we take notes, have meetings with the light guys, with the sound guys.
We walk off stage at the end of the show, and so help me, as we're walking towards the limousines, we're going, well, you know, the lights got to change in this song, or why don't we take this song and switch it with that song? The show is the most important thing we do, and giving the audience 100% is the most important thing also. That's why when we took time off, when we would go to other group shows, their fans come over and say, when are you going out on tour? Because there really is only one Kiss.
We were talking before in the dressing room about, especially with Gene, with the weight. That outfit, I would assume, gets heavy once in a while when you're
This is one of the lighter outfits I've had. This is about 40 pounds. The older outfits used to be about 60, and I was barely moving. But, you know, you forget it. You forget all that stuff when you're out on stage. Everybody forgets, first of all, that whatever running around we do, whatever jumps in the air, especially Paul does, are being done on 8-inch heels. Here, lift them up for a second. You're running around and doing jumps and splits, not in sneakers, and with additional weight and leather and tight stuff. And, you know, we're proud of that. It's, okay, so you're Pete Townsend, so what? Jump in these.
Where is Kiss right now musically?
I think we're kind of at a real exciting point, because I think it took a little time for us to decide exactly what we wanted to do and who we are. And for a while, we may have been listening to people around us who were telling us what they thought we should be doing, and maybe we were listening a little too carefully instead of listening to what we thought we should be doing. And I guess at this point, that's why we're going out for 100 cities. And that's why we did Creatures of the Night, basically to do what we do best, which is hard-ass rock and roll.
Oh, you're on tour right now?
Yeah.
That started a few weeks ago?
No, we just flew in from places, Glens Falls, I think it's Glens Falls, New York, someplace like that. And this is a 100-city tour lasting 6 months. That's going to take us to cities we haven't been in.
In 3 years.
In 3 years. Some of the cities we went around the first time in '74. So it's going to be almost 10 years since some of these cities have seen us.
Kiss is a success. There's no doubt about that. A lot of people are in a stage of their career now where you once were. If you had to give advice to a group, what advice would you give them?
I think about the only advice you can give to anybody is not to listen to anybody else. When we first started out in '73, '72, glitter was dead. Everybody was wearing jeans and playing blues. Blues was really big. And everybody was saying, well, look, you know, let's put a band together, put a rock and roll band together, but don't do all this other stuff. We said, yeah, but we like it. We want to put together the kind of band we've never seen on stage. Not just effects, but outfits and makeup and songs that relate to us, and, you know, a complete package with logos and just all that stuff. And it was not a popular move. Everybody from, you know, press people would come by and say, look, you guys are very good, but come on with this stuff. You know, how long are you going to do this? It's 10 years later. Some of those guys no longer work in newspapers, and we're still here.
It's interesting, probably, when the first album came out, there were reviews that said, this will be a good joke for 3 months. I don't think anybody's laughing anymore.
And that has to be a great feeling.
Well, it's great to know that you were right. The most important thing to anybody, and I think, you know, advice for bands or anybody, is you got to believe in yourself. Because people that are putting you down are only doing it because of their own insecurities. They don't want you to succeed where they failed.
Well, it seems like thousands of people believe in Kiss. So for Vinny, Paul, Gene, Eric, I thank you for coming tonight. Flight.
Thank you, Al.
Thank you, Al.
And don't be careful when you go back to the neighborhood now. Oh, by the way, do you ever go back to the neighborhood?
I do, but I don't have to worry anymore. You know why? Look.
He goes, I unplugged microphones.
Bye.
That was the mic, huh?
Thank you.
Yeah. Salud. See you in your town.
In your dreams.
We're all saying that together? I thought you were just going to do it.
Who's that, Lisa?
Oh my God!
I'm being serious. Are you going to do it or are we all doing it? What are we doing? Are we all doing it?
You do it. Yeah. And then we'll join in and make buffoons of you.
Buffoonery. Which camera?
Guys, take off the makeup. But Lisa, we think it's important. Guys, take it off.
Okay, we're on. Which camera are we on? 2? Right here. Okay, we're on 1. Ready? Oh, are we all saying hi, we're Kiss, or?
Okay. Hi, this is REO Speedwagon. We've had it. I mean, oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's Ira Speedwagon.
Okay, ready?
Ira.
Hi, this is Ira Speedwagon. Go ahead.
Ready?
Hi,
we're Kiss.
Creatures of the Night, watch us on Night Flight on the USA Cable Network.
That's right. You said that very well.
Can we do that
very
again,
good.
please?
Different ways, all different ways. We'll just roll it. Right into this.
Hi,
I was going to say one of the counts. All count together.
Give you the tongue? My room number is 430.
Ready?
Ready? Here we go.
Hi,
we're Kiss. This is my tongue. Available for bar mitzvahs, weddings. Anyway, Creatures of the Night.
Night Flight on the
USA Cable Network.
That's in order.
Fablonjet.
Why'd you say we fly first class to night flight? On the USA Cable Network.
Okay.
Kiss Creatures of the Night, and we fly first class on Night Flight.
Here we go. Hi, we're Kiss.
That's right. And we fly first class on Night Flight on the USA Cable Network.
All right.
Way to go.
Can you try not talking to the other camera, please?
Sure.
Say night flight. Why don't you all say night flight together?
Okay.
That camera.
My shoes.
Just say the word Night Flight.
Yeah. No, when you say
Night Flight!
No, it's not. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2.
Hi,
we're Kiss.
And we fly first class on Night Flight on the USA
Cable Network. But of course, I was supposed to say Night Flight together.
This is not happening, guys.
That's all right. We'll equal Frampton's record soon.
Okay. One more time?
1, 2,
Okay.
3.
Hi, we're Kiss. And we fly first class on Night Flight on the USA Cable Network. Watch.
Hello.
They always do this.
Start off that way.
Hello. Hi,
We're Kiss. And we fly first class on Night Flight on the USA Cable Network. Watch it.
Rock on. And Lisa says so also.
And Lisa's going, why don't you cut your hair and get mohawks?
Why doesn't Patti Smith become the major there? But Lisa, she's never going to happen.
What about a Westhawk?
No, she will.
Do the same thing. Introduce each one of yourself and say we're from Kiss and we fly first class.
But Ivan Krall is a genius.
What?
The whole rap night flight on USA Cable?
Yeah.
But Iggy Pop is a genius.
Instead of getting mohawks, get less hawks.
Hi.
What are we doing?
Just wing it. Wing it, Pops.
Hi, guess what group we are? We're Kiss.
Who are you?
Come on, don't answer at once.
Anyway, we're here. So where are you? Come on over to my house.
Ready?
Come on over
Rosemary
to my
Clooney.
house, baby. Every mother's son. I bet you didn't know that.
Okay. Who cares?
It's come on down to my boat, baby.
I know.
How about come on to my house, Rosemary Clooney?
Come on.
That was good too.
Hi, we're Kiss. And we fly first class on Night Flight on the USA Cable Network. Watch it.
Rock on.
Or else.
1990? Okay. You'll do 1990? Yeah, one 1990. We're going to do one ID for 1990, Radio 1990.
Radio
We're
19?
looking into the future, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Hi, we're Kiss. Watch for Kiss. Hi, we're Kiss. Watch for Kiss coming soon on Radio 1990. On the
Watch for
USA
us.
Cable.
It should be watch for us, yeah.
Watch for us. Coming soon on Radio 1990.
Right.
Try that one.
Hi, we're Kiss. Watch for us coming soon on Radio 1990. Watch it.
Here we go. Hi. 1, 2. Hi, we're Kiss. Watch for us soon.
On Radio 1990. Hi, we're Kiss, and 1990 is coming sooner than you think. Watch for us on Radio 1990. on the USA Cable Network.
That's
Thank you.
right.
That was good.
It's good.
1, 2.
Hi, we're KISS. And 1990 is coming sooner than you think. Watch for us on 1990 on the USA Cable Network.
Thank you so much.
Right.
And eat your cereal.
Here, one more. Is it radio?
Radio
Yeah, watch for us on radio.
How are they going to watch for us?
Well, in 1990.
They're blind people.
Right.
Come on, you got it.
Okay.
Radio for the deaf. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Hi, we're KISS. And 1990 is coming sooner than you think. Watch for us on radio 1990 on the USA Cable Network. Right?
Right.
And we're coming to you at least once.
Eat your
right.
cereal.
Twice is better.
And I'll show you why I'm not scared.